Hi, this is Sherry. I'm coming to you from my she shed in Ontario, Canada. Just wanted to talk to you today about the inner child and healing aspects of the inner child. So, the inner child is the child within us that is brought up with different experiences in life. It could be recent or future, like past circumstances when you were a child. Could be the traumas, the inner wounds, um, our life experiences, the relationships with people that have impacted that. So many different things can bring out the inner child. It's also the essence of who we are, like the child and the joy and the beauty that we bring within ourselves and give out to the world. So, how do we heal some of the things that have been difficult for us that are bringing things up now in our current lives? So, we all have fears and um, you know, traumas and things that have impacted us that, kind of are brought to the surface by triggers, through our experiences that we've had or people, interactions with people can do that. So, you know, we all just want to feel loved. We all just want to feel accepted. We don't want to be afraid, and that's what, it's obviously this is bringing out a lot of that right now with COVID and things going on. So, how do we work through some of these things that are triggering stuff within us, right? So one of the things I'll just say about myself is I was a very quiet and shy person, and oftentimes people would mistake that in me, and um, I had a hard time because people didn't accept me for who I am. Now I'm fine with that now, but anytime I felt like I was misunderstood or things, people would judge me and not look at me how I really am, then it would impact me and trigger me to react in different ways. And, sometimes I was pretty reactive in the past. And, we all have these tendencies. We still have to work on them and look at them. It's not just doesn't go away just completely, but we have to just keep that in check. So some of the things that, trigger us are meant to trigger us and to help us to look at things within ourselves to work on. And sometimes we look at, someone will say something negative to us or we'll have an experience that impacts us and we'll say, okay, well, it's that person, it's their fault. Maybe obviously the person shouldn't like talk to you that way, or especially if it's any abuse. So don't mistake that here. Like, that's not acceptable. It's not right. So, I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is things need to be triggered within ourselves so that we can grow and work through things in ourselves and become more of who we are meant to be. Bring out the essence and joy and everything that we want in our lives, right? So working through some things that are triggers that bring out impact, aspects of ourselves through that inner child is to first acknowledge that, you know, whatever it is that's triggering us is impacting us. So, so for me, it was looking at not feeling accepted, for who I was. So when I wasn't feeling accepted, I might react and trigger, and that would trigger me if there was a circumstance that did that for me. So when I acknowledge that in myself, it's like, okay, I realize that this is something that impacts me and in my daily life, right? So for me, I had a hard time really seeing myself because I would always see it from the lens of what other people thought of me, right? So now I have looked at that differently. So that's another thing you can do is start to reframe and look at things differently. So acknowledge and recognize these things trigger you as an inner child wound. And then recognize that and then, reframe and look at it differently. So now, some people have negative views of me. I'm not doing something that's typical, doing holistic work and, spiritual work, but it's okay. And I had to take some time to like work on me and say, it's okay what they think. Some people are on everyone's on a different path, and some people are not on the same kind of spiritual path as me, and that's okay. But who I am is okay. it's more than okay, actually. It's beautiful who you are, right? So that's what I encourage people to see, that, recognize that within themselves. So it takes some time to like work through that, I would say speak to like a licensed professional. I'm a registered social worker, so someone like that, or someone you can trust and feel comfortable with to be able to talk through some of these things. But there's also other ways to work through inner child wounds. So, like I said, recognizing, acknowledge that, and looking at it differently or framing things differently. But also, you can do certain things to like help you with that too. So it doesn't always have to be talk therapy, but I think that is very beneficial and it's helpful, and I've seen that with my clients. But also working through it by meditating, I find that really helps me. So I really just connect more with myself, and it allows me to be more in a calm and not reactive state to daily life things that come up. So I start to look at things differently when I'm from meditating. I just, started out when I was in the government and had difficulties, working in the world. And I just meditated like 10 minutes before work. There's so many great YouTube videos that can help with that, right? So just to do that type of thing, that's one thing that can help. That also, when you're triggered by some of the childhood traumas or inner child wounds, um, you know, we want to be able to, one, not react in that situation. If we're feeling emotionally like things are coming up, we need to just take a little bit of time, go and do something that calms yourself down. So, one of the things I would recommend is getting out in nature, walking, doing some kind of physical activity, having some kind of like creative outlet. Some people draw. I like writing myself. So being able to write down and express how I feel in that moment is helpful. People journal. So there's many different ways that you can get that out so that you are not going to, in some ways, everyone is wounded. So you don't want to react out and wound someone else by your words or your actions. So kind of trying to get your emotions and feelings about that down in some way. So that's, ways that we can deal with that when we're triggered. So the inner child is also the aspect of the self is like the beautiful part of who you are, the joy and the essence of you, and you want to bring that out. You want to be able to show the world that essence. So just getting out and just doing things that make you happy, even just like small things. It's hard, I know, with the pandemic and everything going on, but we have to find the daily joys, the small things. And I think with anything with this pandemic has done is help us appreciate the people and the things that we take for granted in daily life. So gratitude is a very good way of like being able to connect and just be able to like work through and heal some stuff in yourself too, right? Because if you're grateful for things, you appreciate things, you just look at things differently in the world, and you're less impacted and hurt by those things, right? So I just find what we can all do is just connect with ourselves, find those beautiful things that we enjoy, just the small things, a nice, cup of coffee or a hot chocolate, or going for a walk outside, being connected with nature. It's just so beautiful. Many people that we can say that have been there for us in our lives, and just having those conversations however we can have them right now. Just staying connected with others and with ourselves, right? And doing things that we enjoy and that bring us joy, listening to music, or whatever it is. We can find many creative ways to like connect right now, and it's not easy. We can't always do that, go out and the places and people and connect with the way we want, but we can find things, many things, right, we can do. So just being creative and just doing a little searching and seeing what there is, right? So what I want to do, just to help out a little bit too, is just send a little Reiki to all of you to heal the inner child. So we're working on the sacral and also the solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus brings out the inner child, all those strong, joy and, positive emotions, but also the really hard ones too. And the sacral is working on, dealing with, some of those emotions, that are really just impacted in our bodies. So I'm just going to you guys to take a moment and just we're going to do that. So just hold on one second. Let's put some music.